Hello class, how are you today? I hope you all in a good condition today so you can follow my class well. Okay, before I start the class, let me introduce myself first. My name is Gita Cahyani and you can call me by Miss Gita. I'll be teaching you mathematics in the half of this year. Okay, so before I reveal the material for today's class, I would like to give some picture to you as an illustration. Okay, what do you think about this picture? Did you ever see the picture like this? I think almost all of you ever made this kind of picture when we were young. A picture of village with the hill, with the sun, and with the bird. But did you notice what am I trying to show to you based on this picture? Okay, if you didn't get it, just pay attention to the shape of the hill. Did you familiar with the shape of the hill? I think yes, you are. It's because the shape of the hill is the same like a shape of a parabogram. What is parabogram, miss? So, the parabogram is a graph that used to represent a quadratic equation. So, before we start to learn how to make a parabogram, I would like to explain first what is a quadratic equation in general. For the specific one, we will learn it in the next meeting session. Okay, let's start with the definition first. What is a quadratic equation? So, quadratic equation is an equation that came from word quad, that means square. Why it's called as square? It's because there are a variable that's squared or powered by 2. This kind of equation is also called as equation of degree 2 because the biggest degree is 2. So, the standard form of this equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, which is a, b, and c are known values and a cannot be 0. And x is called variable and we don't know the values of x yet. So, the point of quadratic equation is the existence of a squared or variable that powered by 2. So, I think based on that definition, I think you already understand and already can decide which one the quadratic equation. So, I'll give you 2 equations and I give you 10 seconds to decide which one the quadratic equation and which one is not. Congratulations for all of you who decide the first equation as a quadratic equation because your answer is correct. So, you can simplify both of these equations to see and to decide which one the quadratic equation. So, let's start to simplify the first equation. So, we start from the left side of the equation. We will do a scalar multiplication and it will be 2x squared minus 4x is equal to 5. To make the right side of this equation is equal to 0, we will add minus 5 on both sides of this equation. So, it will be 2x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. So, let's look back at the standard form of quadratic equation. It's already the same. So, we can conclude that it proves as a quadratic equation with a is equal to 2, b is equal to minus 4, and c is equal to minus 5. So, we can do the same thing to the second equation and we will get the final term is minus x minus 5 is equal to 0. Because on the second equation, there is no variable that powered by 2, so we can conclude that it's not a quadratic equation. Okay, we already learned about the definition of quadratic equation, and now I would like to introduce to you the solution of a quadratic equation. So, as I said before, that x is a variable and we don't know the value of x yet. So, the value of x is actually the solution of a quadratic equation, and it's also called as the root of a quadratic equation. So, there are 3 cases of root of quadratic equation, and to know the kind of a root that the quadratic equation have, we must pay attention to one of a method that we will use to get the solution of a quadratic equation, and that method is called a quadratic formula method. So, to get a quadratic formula, we can completing the square in a standard form, and we can solving for the x and simplify until we get this quadratic formula. And then, this term is called as discriminant. And a discriminant is important to us to know what cases of root there are. So, if discriminant is lesser than 0, it means the quadratic equation don't have real root. The next one, if a discriminant is equal to 0, it means a quadratic equation just have one real root. And the next one is, if discriminant is bigger than 0, it means a quadratic equation have 2 kinds of real root. So, based on the definition, I think you already know which one is A, which one is B, and which one is C. So I think it's easy to you to decide the discriminant of a quadratic equation. So now I'll give you an exercise. So I'll give you 3 kinds of quadratic equation, and it's your duty to decide what cases of root based on the equation. So I'll give you 20 seconds to decide your choices, and your time starts from now. Okay, time's up. So let's check your answer now. Let's start from the first equation. So, the discriminant of the first equation is equal to -7. So it means the first equation doesn't have a real solution. If your answer is correct, okay, let's move to the second equation. The discriminant of the second equation is equal to 0. So it means the second equation just have one real solution. So the next one is the third equation. The discriminant of the third equation is equal to 81. So it means the third equation have 2 real solutions. So let's check your answer. Is it correct or not? If you already answered it well, so it means you already understand about 3 cases of the root of a quadratic equation. Okay, I think this class is enough, and all of our concept today is about a quadratic equation in general. And for the next meeting session, I will explain to you a quadratic equation in specific way. It's about a root, how to find the root, and what method that we can use to find the solution of quadratic equation. So, I hope you all enjoyed the class. I hope you can understand the concept well, so you have useful information from today's class. So, see you on the next meeting session. Bye-bye!